In the 1960s, El Paso County was experiencing significant population growth. Citizens were becoming increasingly concerned about the lack of parks and open space. In March 1971, the Board of County Commissioners approved a ballot measure to create the County Parks District. On May 4, 1971, the El Paso County citizens overwhelmingly supported the ballot measure by a 4-1 margin. Over the past 50 years, the El Paso County Park System has grown to 8,000 acres of parks and open space, 130 miles of trails, 2 award-winning nature centers, and a wide variety of environmental education and recreation programs and facilities.
We are truly blessed to provide such a diverse park system for our residents and visitors. County Parks has strived to develop multiple funding streams to balance our need for tax support. Currently, the tax support for county parks is $3 per year for each resident. We're able to keep this tax funding low from support from our citizens, businesses, grants, donations, partnerships, facility use fees, and lottery funds. Overall, our goal is to provide a safe, well-maintained, diverse park system at a good value for our citizens.
One of the first county parks to be developed is the Grand Dame of the county park system, Bear Creek Regional Park, which is located on the former site of the County Poor Farm in southwest Colorado Springs. The Poor Farm was operated from 1900 to 1984 and provided housing for individuals who were suffering from health or financial issues. There were approximately 80 residents at any given time who were expected to work the farm's vegetable gardens and manage livestock that supported the residents and the farm itself. In the late 1970s, the Board of County Commissioners recognized that the Poor Farm model was coming to an end. There was significant interest in potentially developing the site for either residential or commercial use, but citizens supported converting the site to park and open space purposes.
At that time in 1972, there was a struggle for land ownership between housing developers and those who wanted to protect public lands. And so the county transferred over to Parks Department to protect the land and provide a service to the citizens.
Today, the 550-acre park includes a wide variety of facilities for all ages and interests.
It can be anything from athletic fields, archery range, top 10 dog park in the country, approximately 12 miles of trails, and a few hundred acres of open space.
One of the special facilities at the park is an equestrian skills course that was built in collaboration with dedicated volunteers and county parks.
The project has been really well received by the horse community. A lot of horse people are really excited to have something for them. Something that they can come enjoy the day with their families, their friends, their kids, grandkids even. Just a place that they can practice. The goal is to also help try to improve trail relations with every other trail user. The regional trail passes through here, so it's a great opportunity to interact. So we really want to help improve the community and provide a great trail experience for everyone.
For over 30 years, a community garden has been managed by a dedicated group of volunteers. Named after Shar Nyman, their long-term lead volunteer, the Shar Nyman Community Garden provides the opportunity for over 200 gardeners to grow vegetables on garden plots each year.
My wife heard about community gardening, went to a meeting, and at that time the garden was run by El Paso County Extension, and there were some cutbacks in budgets and staff, and some of the gardeners asked the county commissioners if they could come and run it themselves. And the primary person that did the asking was Shar Nyman, who the garden's now named for, who is a passionate gardener and had the time and energy to spend almost a lot of her time year-round related to the garden function.
The garden covers a 2-acre area and has a 5-foot-high fence around it, which remarkably deer don't seem inclined to jump. We divide that 2 acres into 104 full-size plots, which are defined as 20 feet by 40 feet. And then we will divide those in half for people who want less.
Finally, the park is home to the Bear Creek Nature Center, which is one of the first nature centers in the state of Colorado.
Bear Creek Nature Center opened its doors in 1976, originally called the Solar Trails Center. In 2000, the center was tragically destroyed in an arson fire, but an outpouring of community support enabled the center to rise from the ashes and was rebuilt in its present form in 2002. One thing that's remained constant over the years is our aim to connect people to their natural and cultural resources and inspire stewardship. And the primary way that we do that here is through a wealth of programming. That includes school field trips, summer camps, an active adult series, a sustainability series, and special events that we have throughout the year that are embraced by the community. It's free to visit Bear Creek Nature Center, which makes it a wonderful and accessible community resource.
County Parks launched its first major trail development in the 1970s when the county purchased approximately 7.5 miles of abandoned railroad bed from the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway for the development of the new Santa Fe Regional Trail.
So when we think of the new Santa Fe Regional Trail, we describe it in 3 sections. The first section is in the Palmer Lake area. The trail connects to the Palmer Lake Recreation Area, the Santa Fe Open Space, and then continues south along an abandoned railroad. Through the Air Force Academy, the trail leaves the railroad grade and continues along Monument Creek, where then we have a 3rd section south of the Air Force Academy, where it connects to the City of Colorado Springs trail system near Woodman Road. The new Santa Fe Trail not only serves the communities in the Pikes Peak region, it's also part of the state's Front Range Trail system. Currently, the trail exists from Fort Collins all the way down to Fountain, Colorado.
County Parks expanded its opportunities in Black Forest by signing a 25-year lease with the United States Forest Service in 1978 for the 240 acres that is now the Black Forest Regional Park. County Parks continued expanding in northern El Paso County with the purchase of 385 acres for Fox Run Regional Park in 1983. The park's name was attributed to the Black Forest fox fur farm that operated on the site in the 1930s. Today, Fox Run Regional Park is the second busiest park in the county park system.
In the 1940s, the fox farms were shut down. All the foxes were released, and they were released into the local area. Fox Run Regional Park has approximately 4.3 miles worth of trail system that can be used for hiking, biking, equestrian, and the occasional stroll. Most of the park is covered by a forested area. It has an active use area as well as 2 ponds.
A new addition that is proposed to open in 2023 will be the county's 3rd nature center that will be located north of the ponds.
Bear Creek and Fountain Creek Nature Centers have reached their capacity with visitation and programming. And so in 2013, the county did a master plan process and gathered a whole bunch of public input, public meetings, surveys, and one thing that was clear was that there was a need for another nature center in the North District. The Northern Nature Center will be a great educational opportunity for local schools, the visitors, and the residents. And one of the big topics, of course, in the Black Forest area is fire mitigation. Learning how to do it, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and the Nature Center will really be a great place for us to teach and to learn and for the residents to visit.
In 1982, El Paso County Parks purchased land north of the city of Fountain and developed Fountain Creek Regional Park.
Fountain Creek Regional Park originally was completed in the mid-90s for most of the amenities here. We have recreational amenities like basketball court, horseshoe pits, volleyball court. We also have 2 active use fields that are used for multiple things. We have the Duckwood Pond that's down here that's good for waterfowl observation, and there's also fishing for children under 16 in that pond. We also have the dog park, and we have the community gardens, which was completed 3 years ago.
A lot of times we get our parks in one big chunk. This park took 19 purchases or different types of acquisitions to actually get. It started in 1982 with some very small donations and purchases, with the final acquisition being in 2006. And so where, like I said, whereas we normally get a park in one big chunk, in this case, it took many, many pieces to build the entire 388 acres. It is bounded on one side by Highway 85 and on the other side by Fountain Creek. There's not a lot of room to actually grow because it is a linear park. We could only go north and south.
One of the primary features of Fountain Creek Regional Park is the Fountain Creek Nature Center. In 2014, the county and devoted citizens completed a fundraising drive to nearly triple the size of the Nature Center's public meeting space.
Fountain Creek Nature Center is a gem in the El Paso County Park system and an oasis on the plains. We have 5 habitats here, including the creek, the woodlands, the wetlands, the meadows, and the ponds. You're sure to see an abundance of wildlife here. Our mission is to connect people to their natural and cultural resources and inspire them to become stewards of the parks and our environment. We do that through nature camps, school field trips, homeschool opportunities, scout programs, birthday parties, and family programs. Also, through an engaging series of professionally designed and interactive exhibits inside the Nature Center. Fountain Creek Nature Center is a birding hub in the region. We have over 300 bird species that either migrate through or nest in the park. You might see songbirds, great blue herons, birds of prey, or our resident red-winged blackbirds.
In the mid-1980s, the park system expanded to eastern El Paso County with the purchase of 377 acres from John and Gladys Persons for the development of Homestead Ranch Regional Park.
Homestead Ranch was originally a site for Native Americans up until the 1850s, and then around 1874 it was settled by a family by the name of Pearsons. So the Pearsons settled it as a homestead and used the property to farm potatoes and other commercial sites. We've got several different things you can do here. We have a large sports field that you can play soccer, football, catch with your kiddos. You can come out and enjoy our pond, see if you can catch a fish in there. We have a large playground structure. We have over 3 miles of trails here, so if you want to hike, bike, walk your dog, come on out and enjoy that. We've got different types of terrains. You do have a short climb till you get up on top of the bluff. Once you get on top of the bluff, you can see for miles around. So really the hardest part is just getting up there. Once you get up there, there's plenty to see and enjoy as you're walking around up there.
County Park secured one of the most unique sites in the park system in the late 1990s when it purchased 750 acres southeast of the town of Calhan that became Paint Mine's Interpretive Park. The park features a variety of geological, archaeological, and historical attributes.
It is a park that has had humans in and around it for over 9,000 years. The most unique part about the park is the rock formations. Not only are they cool designs and shapes and different things, but it's also got really cool colorful clays, and the colorful clays have become that way from oxidized iron compounds within the soil. It's believed that the Native Americans used this soil to make paints for different rituals and pottery. We've got spires and hoodoos throughout the park, and all that's created based on natural erosion. So wind and water running down the sandstone has created these very unique formations that you can only see in few places throughout the country.
Paint Mines has become a very popular site, attracting visitors from around the United States.
We've had groups from Sweden come out there and enjoy the park, and it's very popular with nighttime photography. You get far enough away from the city, you get away from that light pollution, and you can see several different stars, and it's just amazing what you can see out there. It's great to take your family out there and see something you don't get to see every day.
The new Santa Fe Regional Trail and the Fountain Creek Regional Trail are examples of the park's mission to connect cities, towns, schools, neighborhoods, commercial areas, and other trail systems. Since 2003, the county has completed sections of the UPass Regional Trail that will connect Teller County to Manitou Springs.
So the UPass Regional Trail features some rich history. The first 3 miles near Manitou Springs features several interpretive panels that outline some of the unique things about the trail. This includes the 1860 wagon road, the old Ute Indian trail that was used historically to access UPass, as well as the 1912 dedication. It's a very unique experience. The portion of the UPass Trail follows the Ute Indian Trail, which was used by Native Americans prior to European settlement of the area. So when you leave Manitou Springs and head up the pass, you are actually walking in the same areas that the Ute tribes used for centuries to access the game fields.
County Parks assumed the management of the county fairgrounds in 2004. The 40-acre site, located adjacent to the town of Calhan, serves as a social and recreation hub for eastern El Paso County. The fairgrounds host over 200 activities and special events annually, including the El Paso County Fair, which is conducted in July each year and attracts over 25,000 spectators.
The El Paso County Fair and Event Center is really a true community hub in eastern El Paso County. What we've learned there is the county fair, the heritage celebrates our Western culture, but also the 4-H and the FFA students get to demonstrate what they do. The El Paso County Raceway has been one of the coolest and funnest things that we've done out there. It really has built an audience. The quarter-mile dirt track, some of them are hobbyists that are racing out there, but a lot of them take it very serious, and they've enjoyed having that opportunity in our community. The Demolition Derby is one of the keystones of our county fair, and it usually is on the last Saturday night. People come from all over. It's sold out for multiple years now, and it's amazing how much fun they have watching cars crash. One of the very unique things about the El Paso County Fair is how we have become sustainable. We've learned that with budgets fluctuating, we need to do our part to generate revenue. And so every year, the county fair generates enough revenue during that 8-day fair to pay for not only all of the events that happen there, but throughout the year. We're very proud of this, and we wouldn't be able to do it without all of the community partners, volunteers, and wonderful nonprofit organizations that support it.
In 2007, El Paso County Parks and the Manitou Environmental Citizens Action partnered to restore Rainbow Falls, a historic site located close to the city of Manitou Springs. Rainbow Falls has significant historical and cultural features as a wagon trail route and spiritual site for Native Americans. Thousands of residents and visitors enjoy the historic site each year.
Rainbow Falls has been a tourist destination for over 100 years, but over the last couple decades, it's kind of fallen into disrepair. We did have a lot of negative activities going on there. What's been exciting over the last 10 years is what the county's been able to do at Rainbow Falls. There are millions of visitors that come to the Pikes Peak region, and they're looking for different locations to go and visit. One thing we've learned over the last couple summers is that Rainbow Falls is close, it's a short walk, and people love waterfalls. And some folks will come up, spend 15, 20 minutes. Others, they'll spend a couple hours up there playing in the water, sitting next to it, picnicking. There's picnic sites all along the creek.
The Falcon area of El Paso County is experiencing dramatic growth. The El Paso County Parks Master Plan include the development of a regional park in the area and focused on including athletic facilities due to the high number of young families in the area.
So Falcon Regional Park currently features 2 baseball fields used by High Plains Little League. It's very popular for baseball, softball, and other pickup games. We've seen a lot of growth in Falcon, and those fields have been welcomed by the residents. We also have a multi-use field, a 10-acre dog park, and 1.5 miles of trail.
County Park secured a site known as the Pineries in Black Forest. The Pineries open space straddles the Palmer Divide in the Black Forest and is characterized by gentle rolling terrain, covered by ponderosa pine forests, grassland meadows, wetlands dotted with small ponds, and abundant wildlife.
The Pineries was the Black Forest. When the first settlers and such came to this area, ranching was huge up there. And the Pineries was part of the Farrar Ranch, and the Farrars ran, I don't know the exact acreage, but it was somewhere supposedly close to 4,000 acres. As they ceased their cattle operations, they moved into logging operations, and you can see the results of that with trees that are all the exact same height versus some of the old growth trees. And then when it moved on and the land was divided in the Farrar family, this particular chunk was put up for sale, and we were lucky enough to acquire 1,070 acres of it. One unique aspect of it is it's kind of a ring-shaped open space. So the area in the center is owned by private ownership, whereas we have the ownership of the ring of, essentially the ring of trees around it. Unfortunately, the park was heavily impacted by the 2013 Black Forest fire. As such, almost 90% of the park was affected in some way, whether it burned the grasses or trees or actually took the trees out. And we are lucky that after things started to grow back, we realized we still had stands of trees, but it really made the planning process challenging. We had to put the trails in places where folks wouldn't be out in the sun all day long. It is an 8.5-mile trail. The finished result is excellent. Like I mentioned, 8.5 miles of wooded and hilly, open, some open areas that you do get to see what the fire did, but wonderful views of Pikes Peak from up on the Palmer Divide.
The Alexander Kane Estate generously provided a site to El Paso County for the development of an open space park.
It is 495 acres of rolling prairie land. So we're talking prairie grass and cholla cactus, and that's about it. There are some stands of cottonwoods along these dry creek beds, but when most people think of county parks, they think of towering ponderosa pines and scrub oak and everything. But when you get there, you realize it's wide open and your views are absolutely outstanding. From some of the open spaces high points on a clear day, you can see all the way to the Spanish Peaks in the south and Mount Herman to the north. And except for the occasional jet that passes overhead, it is absolutely quiet.
In 2015, the city of Colorado Springs transferred ownership of Jones Park to El Paso County. The 1,200-acre park is located in the Bear Creek watershed and surrounded by the Pike National Forest. The county partnered with the Forest Service and other stakeholders to complete the trail upgrades in Jones Park in 2018.
It's located approximately 6 miles west of downtown Colorado Springs, so it sits up in the mountains. It's only accessible by hiking, biking, motorcycle, horseback. You can't drive there. Once you arrive in Jones Park, it's about 8,000 feet in elevation and goes up to about 10,400 feet in elevation. Back in 1884, one of the most significant features of Jones Park that remains today is Loud's cabin. He was a professor at the local college, a mathematics professor, so built a homestead there. One of the unique aspects of the watershed is it's home of the greenback cutthroat trout, which is the only known natural breeding and pure strain of the cutthroat trout, which is also the state fish of Colorado. There's also other historical aspects of it with just the Native Americans being in this region years ago. And there's going to be those ties to the area as well. It's one of those things that we definitely need to preserve and protect as time moves forward, but people can get up there and enjoy the aspects of the area.
County Parks is privileged to have significant community support that help manage nature centers, complete park cleanups, and serve on boards and committees.
The key to our success over the past 50 years is our volunteers. They donate approximately 20,000 hours to our parks, trails, open spaces, and nature centers. Thank you to all of our amazing volunteers. We couldn't do it without you.
Over the past 50 years, the county park system has grown to thousands of acres containing highly valued facilities and open space, over 100 miles of trails connecting cities, towns, and neighborhoods, and offering over 1,000 environmental and recreation programs and services. This all began because the citizens had the foresight and understanding to start then to preserve for us now. We look forward to the next 50 years.